Then we get into the game. I'm like driving baseline. I remember like my coach, we had a conversation. He's like, you need to be more aggressive, attack. And we were playing like one of the number one like prospects in high school. So I'm like, okay, I actually have to like really be locked in.
Hmm.
I'm driving baseline, I get fouled, I get like pushed, and
Hmm.
my knee, it was just like
Real Talk with Star Scorpio Season 7. On today's podcast, we have a very special guest who is none other than the incredibly talented daughter of one of my lifelong friends, Kevin Blagrove. Get ready to meet a rising star who is set to make a significant impact in the world of basketball. She's a true phenom, and I can't wait for her to share her story. Chantelle, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
hi, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. How are you?
Good, good. It's a Saturday, and we had a little mix up in the time, but I'm glad you are here to be on the podcast.
Me too.
Wait, so were you before we get into it, you were at your brother's game?
Yeah, yeah. It
Okay.
was in Whitby, just playing a couple games for CYBL.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Nice to have you here. So, on Real Talk, we like to build a timeline. This is kind of weird because I know you, I know the family and everything,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask you questions like I don't really know you. But and also you're young. Let the people know how old you are.
I'm 19,
You're
just turned
19.
19.
Okay. So it's the question is where were you born and raised? So where'd you grow up and where are you right now?
So I was born like in Canada, grew up in the GTA, Ajax, uh, just with my parents and my two siblings. And yeah, I've been here my whole life pretty much.
Two siblings. So of course I know there's three um siblings altogether, like you, Justin, Kiana, right?
Yeah,
Where do you lie in that?
I am the middle
You
child.
are the middle
Yes.
child. How does that feel growing up? Because I hear stories about the middle child, but how does that feel?
Mm, honestly, I like being the middle child because I feel like my personality is more of the like laid back, like the observing one, the observant one. So like I just kind of do my thing and I kind of like connect them because we're both it's like a 1 year gap, like 2 1 year gaps. So I'm kind of the bridge. So I like it. I don't mind. Like I feel like I get along with them really well. Like I love it.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, I didn't know it was one both ways, 1 year both ways. Then you're saying, right? Almost
Yeah, it's like 1.5,
one and a
but
half.
like a one, two.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about basketball later on in the podcast, but let the people know how tall are you right now?
I technically I guess 5'8". We'll leave it at 5'8".
Yo, yo, I interviewed some people like Chris Staples, professional dunker,
Hmm.
and someone else I interviewed, a rapper, and they played ball. And
Hmm.
then I said, "How tall are you? How tall are you?" And they're like 6'1", but 6'2" in basketball. Like I was trying to
Yeah,
understand, do they put it different when they publish it somewhere?
yeah.
Because I read it,
It's
I thought I read you were 5'9".
yeah, because honestly it might say I'm 5'10" somewhere, but
Oh,
that's a lie for sure. But I know like if a basketball player tells me they're like 6 foot,
mhm.
no one's ever gonna tell you they're 6 foot because if you're 6 foot, you're 6'1". If you're 5'11", you're 6 foot. So I just dock an inch and a half automatically.
Okay. Wait, so are you taller than your dad?
No, I think I'm a solid, like I might actually be like 5'7.5". So I just run with 5'8", five
That's
nine
right.
with shoes.
Yes. Sweet, sweet. What about moms? You have to be taller than moms, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
are,
taller
yeah.
than my mom. I think it's just Justin is actually taller than he might be taller than my dad now. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
just like Justin, my dad, me.
Mm, okay.
Kiana's down there.
Yeah. Kinda the oldest. Okay, now school. School's not that far removed. And when I talk about school, I'm talking about public school, junior high,
Mm,
and then of course
yeah.
high school. But what subjects were you good in school? Like in
Mm,
high school days?
high school, I would say like more of the like English classes and like politics and like the stuff that involve like writing and articulation.
Hmm.
I think like I enjoy like no, that's a lie. I don't like math, honestly, at all. I used to really love math and I used to do good at it
Yeah.
and I still honestly do okay, but I don't like it by any means. And so yeah, I definitely take the more like writing and I rather write 10 essays before I do a
Oh,
math exam.
wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And so how were your grades then?
pretty good. Like high school, they were really good. And honestly, like in the most humble way, I think if I applied myself more, like I obviously would have done like much better, but like they were like pretty good.
Nice, nice. And now, did you play sports? Because, of course, we're getting into basketball, but what sports did you play in high school? Was it only ball, or did you do track or volleyball or things like that?
I think high school is when I started to like isolate basketball more. Like
Hmm.
elementary school, I definitely played like everything under the sun, but high school, I think because the first year I went to a regular high school,
Hmm.
I like just played basketball. I was going to do track, but it was just like kind of like the practices didn't work out with my basketball practices, so
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of where I stopped all the other sports.
Okay. And when did that real passion for basketball start? Because I want to know if your dad had any influence on that, or was it you smiling? Did he have any influence on that, or did you find your own way too?
Mm, in the end, I definitely found my own way, but the way that it started was 100% my dad.
Yeah.
I think like in maybe fourth grade, I tried out for the basketball team and then I got cut. And I used to do running before. And
Yeah.
like I was like always a good runner, like, just run, do your thing. But it always made me like anxious. So I'm like maybe a team sport, tried
Mhm.
basketball and I got cut. And then I started doing track. And then I didn't like the track team. And
Mhm.
so my dad was like, you can't do no sport. Like I was still playing soccer,
Yeah.
but he's like, you're like literally you're athletic, you need to play a sport. So he's like, we're going to a basketball tryout. I was like, I'm not going. I and it's weird because
Yeah.
my brother started playing before me,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would sit at his practice for like 2 hours doing nothing on a Monday. So
Yeah.
it's like I have the time and I have the interest, but I just didn't want to do it.
Mhm.
And then he forced me to go to a tryout. I was crying whole way
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
I think grade six maybe. And so I made the team
Mhm.
and then I was like, Dad, I don't want to do it. I really don't. He's like, okay, fine. You have to call the coach. I'm like, oh my goodness. I call the coach. I'm in the corner. I'm like, Coach, like, I don't want to do it. I don't think this sport's for me. But
Mhm.
he's like, I'm not letting you quit. Like, blah blah blah. And so yeah, honestly, he is the what sparked it. But
Mhm.
then as I played, like as I learned how to like what I like to do playing basketball. Like I really enjoy defense. Like
Yeah.
when I gain like that sort of like appreciation for basketball, then it became like my own like drive and passion.
Yeah.
But
Well
it peaked
said,
early.
Chantel. Well said. Um, there's something I want to know about your height though, because you
Mm.
know, you're taller than me now, which is it hurts. It hurts. But I remember going to your house for the barbecues and stuff, and you were shorter than me, of course, because you're growing.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
I remember there was a gap in when I seen you,
Yeah.
and then you shot up, and then you were like maybe a little bit shorter than me or my height. But
Mhm.
what? How do you feel about your growth spurt? Did you grow with the rest of your friends, or were you one of the tall ones or a shorter one,
Mm,
or do you remember?
I want to say like I feel like in a way I felt like a bit tall like in elementary school because like the guys were I was definitely taller than a lot of guys I would say.
Mm,
Probably like if we line up in a class like I was gonna be in the back row. But I think that was really just like elementary school. Like once I got to high school, like I felt more like there was like normal
mhm.
size people.
Yeah.
So like I just blend in more. Like in my friend group, like there's no way I would have put on heels. Like to graduation, I didn't put on like heels because I'm like I'm gonna be six
Yeah.
foot and they're gonna be like on my shoulders. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no. After elementary school, first year high school, it kind of stopped.
Mhm. Okay, so now you made that team, right? You're talking about that
Yeah.
team you made, right? So now tell me a little bit about your career in basketball because you went to Niagara Prep,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Before university. So tell me
I
about
did.
that little your pathway to Niagara Prep first.
Yeah, so I played elementary school and then I was kind of, I think it was like grade eight, eighth grade. Like a prep school coach asked me like, oh, um like we're interested in you and like do you want to like join our team and stuff like that. It was pretty close. It was just kind of expensive, but other than that, like it was pretty close. We knew the coach, we knew like some of the players.
Hmm.
um but I didn't want to go because it was like my first year of high school. I like wanted to just like have like a normal year, like introduce like that introductory year. And
Yeah.
so I did my first year at like regular high school, here like in Pickering High.
Okay.
um
Oh, you went to
grade
Pickering High.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
Yeah. And then the next year after that, like 10th grade is when I was like, okay, like or the end of ninth grade, I was like, okay, like I actually kind of like, I'm really starting to feel it. Like I see my potential. I think before it was a lot of other people telling me my potential, and
Hmm.
I was just like I know I can do like some stuff, but I didn't really see how good I could be. And
Okay.
so when I was like, oh, like I can actually like kind of do some stuff, then I was like, okay, maybe prep school. Went to prep school grade 10, COVID happened. And so grade 11 was like I was in Niagara, but like just working out, no basketball.
Hmm.
And then the end of 11th grade, like in the summer, I tore my ACL. And so I went back to regular high school, Pickering High, just finished my last year with my friends.
Yeah, so I'm glad you got into that because I wanted to talk about your injury. But
Mhm.
before I talk about that, how did COVID set you back? Did that set you back in any way? How'd that feel for you? You know, you're making some traction and then all of a sudden this COVID thing around lockdown.
Honestly, like I feel like at the time, it felt like a really good like refresher and
Okay.
just like to sit down and like, do your thing. But after, like, it was definitely from like a basketball standpoint, like obviously there's things you can always find things to do off the court
Hmm.
if you really want to, but like to get into like a gym and shoot, like you can't like really replicate that same type of like even playing on the pavement is not the same as playing in the gym. So like things like that, like just sometimes you lose a bit of your touch, but then at the same time, like I gained a bit of like handles, so
Hmm.
it kind of like balanced it out in a way.
Hmm.
But the only thing I would say is because like my injury came after COVID,
Hmm.
like I guess you never really know, but like my knee was already a little wishy-washy from like all the sports before, but then the break and then just jumping back into basketball,
Hmm.
definitely I feel like there was a correlation.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I always wondered about that, how that made you feel, you know, being young, starting basketball,
Yeah.
and now the injury. So I remember going to visit Kevin at the house, and then I go to your room, and I swear you're on the bed in the cast. I don't know if you're in the cast at the time, but your leg was up and you were resting. So I want to know, could you share your experience with us?
Mm,
Your injury, how did it impact you emotionally, and then most important, physically?
yeah. Honestly, that's like a really big question that I feel like I still like am like learning about today.
Mhm.
Like I'm still like things come up in my life and I'm like, this is like tied like back to like way back when I was like injured in the beginning,
Yeah.
but or things that like I didn't really address at that time. But I would say um mentally in the beginning, like obviously it was tough because it was my senior year. Like a lot of good things, like you said, like I was on a very high, like good trajectory.
Mhm.
And so like it kind of like mentally definitely dimmed my light.
Yeah.
I would say like emotionally, I wasn't obviously like as bubbly and stuff. I don't think I was like, moping around every day, but just to not be around, like I'm always for the past like however many years, I've like spent so much like 5 practices a week. Like I see so many people all
Mhm.
the time. And so like to not see like those people who I'm always like normally constantly seeing, I feel like that was like um honestly more of a withdrawal than like the basketball at the time
Mhm.
because it did feel like a break. Like obviously it wasn't really like the type of break I wanted, but it was like a break in a way. So at that time, I feel like it was more just the isolation of it,
Hmm.
especially because I at the time graduated early. So when I was done, I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, physically though, that is like honestly like once you get injured like something like that where you need like reconstruction, it's like something that's always going to be there for the rest of your life. Like I'm already I think my knee is like at like a like my 100% for my knee now is more like 65, I would
Oh,
say.
wow. Yeah.
So it's like a lot of I don't know, just physically, like my knee is not the way it was before. I
Hmm.
feel like I still feel good in my body, I still feel comfortable and stuff, but it's just like if I sit down here, like this knee feels like nothing at all, just feels like a body part. And this, like, I kind of have some awareness that there's like, sometimes it will hurt, things like that. Like it's little reminders, I'd say.
So it was your right knee then, you're
Yeah.
saying? Yeah. So explain to me, how did it happen though? Do
Um,
you remember?
yeah, it was like AAU, and this was like maybe our fourth game back after like COVID. So like we haven't played like everyone on the team is like hasn't played in a while. We're going warming up. Well, first thing that happens in the warm up, I like crash into one of my teammates. She's on the floor, I'm on the floor. So honestly, that was like the start of a bad thing. Then we had to change our jerseys.
Hmm.
So it was like already a rush. Then we get into the game. I'm like driving baseline. I remember like my coach, we had a conversation. He's like, you need to be more aggressive, attack. And we were playing like one of the number one like prospects in high school. So I'm like, okay, I actually have to like really be locked in.
Hmm.
I'm driving baseline, I get fouled, I get like pushed, and
Hmm.
my knee, it was just like, and I fell. And honestly, like, it was like, I've been like hurt, but I've never been injured.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like some people forget, like, hurt is like, ah, that hurt, but injured, like I'm not getting up. And so like I look up, like I'm on the floor. They're trying to help me up. I'm like, no, no, no. Like I need a second. I
Yeah.
look like the UConn head coach is like sitting at the baseline. My coach is from Rhode Island. They were also at the game. It was
Okay.
like Arizona coach. Like all these coaches are just looking at me on the floor and I'm like, I get like I was like, yeah, this is crazy. But yeah, I didn't know at the time, but it
Yeah,
was.
I always hear about because I don't know the parts of the knee, like the
Mhm.
ACL. I don't know if there's MCL. Like
Yeah.
there was a couple names I heard, but I always hear that that's a bad injury, and
Yeah.
I guess it needed surgery then, or
Yeah.
it needed surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has something to do with tendons in the knee, maybe.
Yeah, like the in the simplest term, like the ACL goes like straight through the knee. The
Okay.
meniscus is like this, and I
Yes.
tore like this part completely, and there was like some tears like along here, which I had surgery for later.
Okay. Wow, I'm sorry that happened to you. But
Mhm.
everything that happens, we always learn something from it too. So
For sure.
that's one good thing. Um, what was I gonna say about that though? When it rains, does it bother you? Like when the weather changes or any kind of humidity or dampness, do you feel something in your knee?
No,
No.
I or nothing that I've like actively like thought about.
Or paid
But
attention to
no.
or anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, because sometimes my joints hurt when it's damp outside, when it's rainy,
mhm,
because I got bad knees from all those sports back in the days,
yeah.
but it may be different.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll think
Mm,
about it from now on.
yeah. So where have you played though, too, right? Because you mentioned Rhode Island stuff. Did you travel and play in different states in America?
Yeah,
Hmm.
we played a lot of places. Honestly, I don't really remember them all because I we didn't really get to like travel for sightseeing necessarily, but
Yeah. Hmm.
um yeah, we played like especially AAU, like being a Canadian team, like you gotta drive if you're gonna like get seen. So
Yeah.
we've been on a couple treks across the world. I've driven to Atlanta on a coach bus.
Oh,
It's awful.
wow.
Yeah,
Jeez. Wait, how
yeah.
long is that? What's the longest drive you've been on?
Maybe like I think when you set the clock, like Florida was like 27,
Oh, okay.
but way more than that. It took way longer. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So how's the camaraderie with the teammates? You got good teammates. You come close when you travel and things like that, right?
Yeah, I think also because a lot of my teammates, we have like similar like personality, not personalities, but like energy, so we get along really well. So like when we're like on the bus, like we just like chill, talk, and then do our own thing, go to sleep,
Mhm.
recycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we come to the point of the interview. I have a question for you, man.
Yes.
It's a would you rather question. That's it. Yes. And then I want to hit you with some basketball questions, some straight shooting questions to see what you have to say. But
Okay.
let's do this. And you're young, so let me see what you would say to this one. Would you rather visit your younger self and give them advice for the future, or visit your older self and get advice right now to set you up for the future?
Mm, I think like I would just because like I'm only 19, like I would want to see my older self
Mhm,
and like just set myself up for the future
mhm,
because I for me, like I have like kind of ideas of like what I want my future to look like.
mhm.
So like I want to know if
Yeah.
that happened or like what I can do to make it like better or like something like that. Because I feel like even going back, like I can remember like a while back into
Mhm.
like I'm only 19, like me like
Yeah,
back
I
to
know.
like and so
Yeah, true,
yeah.
true. You know what's crazy about this question? I've interviewed some people that weren't happy with their childhood, their growing up. So
Mm,
it's funny that some people will say I would go back and tell my friend that this is not important or this is important and things like
mm,
that. And then there's some people who think about the future like they want some guidance. So they're like,
yeah,
yeah, definitely I'd want to visit my older self and get
for
some
sure.
guidance for right now. But I've had some people say, you know what? I wouldn't do either. So I love this question. Very interesting.
That was a good question.
Mhm. Now, again, you're young. Let me see how you get it. I'm gonna ask it in a different order that I ask people.
Okay.
So this is about your younger self. So even though you're 19,
Yeah.
think about talking to your younger self, maybe 11, 12 years old,
Yeah.
because now you're mature, 19 years old. Let me see what you'd say. What would you tell your younger self about family?
Family. Mm, I think like it sounds so cliche, but honestly, I would just say like family is extremely important and like those are the people who it's not that I didn't have this understanding back then, but I would just reinforce that like those are the people who like on your worst day, like you can call them, on your best day, you can call them, or at least that's the relationship I had. I'm grateful that I had a relationship where like if I'm feeling like awful, I'm gonna call my sister and we're gonna talk and like she'll maybe I won't feel super like good after, but I'll feel like just like 1% better. So I feel like those are the people who are like closest to you in your circle
Mhm,
if that's like the relationship you have. So I would just say like to myself, just like continue to like or don't like take advantage of like the relationship that you have like with your family.
mhm,
I know my mom would like run through a wall for me, but
mhm,
like I know at the same time like there's certain extents that I'm like things I'm willing to ask her for because like I know how much love she has for me. So like I know she do like is willing to do it. So I'm not gonna ask her to do something that's gonna compromise her.
mhm.
So
Well said. Well said. Now, what would you tell your younger self about friends?
friends, this is a honestly just like you really have to be mindful of who you're friends with, who they hang around with also matters. Like it's just like perception and perspective is a big thing. And once you're in a group of people, like that is even if that is not you, that's what you look like to anybody on the outside. And like it's not fair, but like that's what it is. And so I would just say like be mindful of your friends. I think I did a good job, honestly, of like I found a circle early, which I'm very glad for. And so yeah, just be mindful of who you're around, the type of like stuff you're like taking part in. But like have fun, I would say. Have fun, but like don't be stupid.
Yeah, good answer. Okay, now these two. Oh, let's see. What would you tell your younger self about money?
Money. My dad always tells me this. So like honestly, just like invest and like be okay with investing and but then also saving. But me personally, I don't think I have an issue with that because I don't like to spend my own money.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
so I honestly save pretty decently, but just like use that money that you're saving, like it's not gonna be there forever. Like just put it somewhere. Like something my dad has taught me at least is like $1 can is like still an investment.
Mm,
And like that $1 could be like $5, but you still like you invested your money. Like one day that $10 might be like $100 that you can invest, and now it's like 500. So just like invest and be mindful.
yeah, he's taught me that too. Okay,
You have to
next.
teach everyone that.
Okay, last one.
Mm,
What would you tell your younger self about love?
love. Um, I would say like it comes in like all different shapes and like forms from like different people, I would say. Um, but like I would say like accept it. I think I like sometimes I struggle to
Mhm.
accept people's like love. Like this person is like cares for me, just accept it. Like why are you fighting it?
Yeah.
I would say like that is the biggest thing. Um, because it can only like make relationships closer. And then also the other thing would just be like in a more relationship wise, like be like allow yourself to like put you first sometimes, I guess.
Mm,
I think sometimes I take my mom's tendencies and like I try to like help other people, but then I forget like to help myself. So I think I would tell myself like at the end of the day you're living your own life, so like put
yeah.
you first because it doesn't mean you don't care about other people, but put you first.
Mhm. Wow, very smart young woman. When that's good that you answered those questions. Thank you. When's your birthday again?
May 9th.
Oh, so it just passed.
Yeah.
Happy belated. So you
Thank
just
you.
turned 19. Yeah, I remember seeing you when it was COVID time, man. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's get to some ball questions.
Hmm.
So, this is something you can think about deeply, or if you don't want to answer it, I don't want to give away some of your skills to the other teammates if they if they not teammates, com- competition if they're watching
Yeah.
this or if they watch this. But anyway, first of all, what position do you play?
I'm a guard. Technically, I'm a two guard, but my specialty is not shooting, and typically a two guard is like a shooter.
Mm,
But I think if I was a little taller, I would be a really good three, but I'm a two.
yeah, okay. Um, what's your signature move? Do you have one?
Hmm. I think like my first, like in my mind, my instinct is to like in and out, and then the next would be like to cross.
Okay.
That'd be like the first thing I think of doing. But mostly, like if I get the ball, like I kind of just try to rip like baseline.
Yeah. Easy, easy, easy.
Yeah.
Don't let it out the bag. Don't let it out. Okay, cool. Um, favorite place to shoot from on the court?
Hmm. Honestly, it's I think like around the free throw line, like something I think because I had to shoot on the gun during COVID at the free throw line, like I
Yeah.
used to take like 500 shots there with my coach.
Oh,
So now it feels like really like I think I could catch the ball and like just be like,
like a Steph Curry, eh? Just put it up.
yeah. Like I know there, like my free throw percentage will be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, what feels better, blocking a shot or hitting a 3 point?
I would say a three. I honestly don't think I've blocked many shots.
Oh,
But
really?
actually, I would say, actually, I guess because I don't block shots,
Mm.
maybe blocking a shot, because I feel like if I block it, it's like, oh, wait, whoa,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
catch that.
I gotta tell you something. Because I think you know from your dad that had a vertical, right?
Yeah.
Like I could jump. So one of my favorite things was blocking shot. I would take blocking over dunking, over shooting.
Mhm.
There's some feeling you get when you block someone's shot, especially when they don't think that I can jump and block the shot. Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Good feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
get that out of there. Okay. Um, what feels better? Stealing the ball from someone or driving for a layup?
I would say stealing the ball.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
ugh.
Okay. Now what's your average like per game? Do you have a shooting average percentage or do they track those
I'd
things?
say they do calculate it, but like this season, because I had my other they cleaned up my meniscus, I took my redshirt year so I could have like a full 4 years
Mhm.
of eligibility. But I guess like the last game I would have played is 2 years ago, and I don't really remember.
Okay, okay. Um, I want to ask about school in a minute, but the last thing I was going to ask you, like the WNBA, I think they had their first game here at
Yeah.
the Scotia Arena. Did you go or did you want to go or do you support like Kent? I don't know.
I didn't go, but my dad was looking for tickets and I would have gone because
Hmm.
like honestly, WNBA games are like always a pretty because the people who are there, like they actually want to be there. So like the energy is pretty good. Like I
Yeah.
went to the championship game with my team at the beginning, or I don't remember exactly when it was, and it was like really fun. So I would have gone, but it was
Hmm.
packed.
Yeah, yeah. I know someone from work that went. They said it was amazing.
I
But
can imagine.
so who did you look up to now? I want to know, like whether it be women's basketball or men's basketball,
Mhm,
you must watch ball back in the days. And even
mhm.
when the Raptors won the championship, you must have been heavily watching. I'm speaking for you. I'm thinking you are. But who did you look up to
Mm,
or influenced you?
Influence. Honestly, I want to say like because of the way that I started basketball, I like watching basketball like in person, but I
Mhm.
never really like used to watch. Like my brother would always make fun of me like a couple years ago because he'd be like, "Oh, name like five people on the Raptors." I'm like, but but
Yeah.
I want to say a lot of it came from like the people I played,
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
Because like I don't know, like I'm guarding someone, they do something, I'm like, wait, like that was kind of cool. Or
Mhm.
like it's like someone kind of has a certain type of like swag to them, and I'm like, like that's kind of like cool. I
Mhm.
think it's things like that, less of like a focal like idol, basketball idol.
Yeah. Okay. And even on that, then this question kind of falls in line. So some of the level of competition that you were in the
Mhm.
different divisions or even in the states, wherever it may be, how did that help you grow as a player? It must have helped you grow when you were playing those teams that were really high performance.
Yeah. Honestly, in the very like first like couple years of playing basketball,
Mhm.
I played on like just like a team that was just like put together by like like I don't know, it was just kind of put together. So it wasn't like any type of talent. So we took a lot of beatings. And
Huh.
honestly, that helped me like character and like leadership and stuff like that because one, like I would play like 40 or 40 minutes and it was like we're losing by 50 and I'm still on, but I just have to take the beating. And like that taught me like resilience because it's just like, you know what, like whatever, like you're just gonna have to fight to the end. And then also like the competition, I feel like especially when I played at Niagara Prep my first year,
Mhm.
because I was like younger and most of our team was older, like we had a girl, her name was Donna. She was like had like Olympic level
Oh,
like
wow.
talent for running, like sprinting. And
Yeah.
I'm like guarding her and I'm like, she's just beating me. But at a certain point, like there's a point where like she doesn't beat you as bad anymore. And
Yeah.
then like maybe she doesn't beat you anymore, or maybe she like beats you one or two times, like that sort of stuff. Like they just like force you to like play better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it goes all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but you ever get discouraged though? Like if you were, sometimes you watch a game and you know the winner of the game,
Yeah.
because the team's better stuff. But does that discouraging when you're playing a team, or does it drives you more to try and beat that undefeated team? Because I'm sure you must have had those teams out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, like for me, it was like, oh, I'm gonna prove a point that
Hmm.
like you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
And so that was more so like my mindset. And like I had a teammate, her name was Sarah. She goes to Wisconsin and like we were kind of like a little tag team. Like she's a five and I was like a one. I was the point guard at the time and she was the five. And so we were like, okay, like we cannot lose. Like we cannot
Mhm.
lose by more than 15. And
Yeah.
so like, yeah, I feel like that like pushed me to be like, yeah, you're not gonna like make a fool of me. Or at least if you
Yeah.
beat me by 50, people aren't gonna think that I'm like a bad player. So that
Right.
was kind of like, I'm gonna prove a point.
Hmm. Okay, so let me know what's going on now though, because you went to Niagara Prep for how many
Mm.
years?
Two
Two
for
years,
10 and 11.
right? And now you just said to me before we started recording how you started university, your first year in university.
Yes.
So let me know what ball is like now. Are you playing for the team and what university are you going to?
So I go to the University of Rhode Island. It's like a really small state.
Mhm.
Everyone's always like, "Where is it?" I'm just like, New York and Boston.
Yeah.
Just think of those areas and you'll like kind of know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to the University of Rhode Island. I'm not like I didn't play last season just because I played like in the summer and then like in the beginning, but then there was like a bit of like I was having flare-ups with my knee and it was getting like swollen and achy and stuff. So they said they were gonna go in and like see what was up. And there was like a tear, like it's a bit hard to explain, but it was just like a really bad positioning and like painful. So they just kind of like took out like half of my meniscus. Um, and so I didn't play the year, but I still like had practice. I still like lifted, worked out, and all that stuff. So I was still like part of the team on the game, like at the games, like all that sort of stuff. But I just didn't play, and I'll still have 4 years after this.
Okay. Okay. And thanks for letting me know about that. What are you taking in university?
I'm doing business,
Hmm.
but honestly, I'm thinking of switching my major.
Hmm.
To like political science and minoring in business
Hmm.
because like I said, I really don't like I don't like math
Yeah.
and I the amount of math exams I've had to take this year is not okay. So I think I need to do political science and minor in business because I do find business like very interesting and like how that works and like logistics.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what your dad and bred in. He's done a lot
Yeah,
in that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Had no
Okay.
choice.
Yeah. Okay. Now, um, we all get hyped when we like before I did stand up, right? Before I went on stage, there was certain songs I'd like to hear before I start my show.
Yeah.
With basketball, I always see like the NBA players listening to songs, getting themselves hyped up before they go on. Do you have a song that you like to listen to before you get on that court?
Hmm. It really depends, but I have like a playlist that's like a bunch of hip hop and rap. I don't really listen to rap, but I just need like a song that has like a bit of like
Wait, hold on. Wait,
swearing.
interview's gonna be paused for a minute. What are you talking about? You don't like to listen to rap. Let's discuss this for a minute. This hold on for a minute.
I like
Hold on.
R&B.
Oh, that's good too. Okay, go on. Go on. I cut you off.
Yeah. Honestly, if I have to think of one, I'm gonna say like Energy by Drake because I feel like he's like talking, but he's like speaking to you and he's
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
so personal. And I'm like, yeah, what
yeah.
he said.
Yeah, what you said. Cool. Yeah, I want to know that with music. Now, what does Chantel do when not ball or not in school? Do you have anything else that you do? Or
Honestly,
do you like doing?
that is like when you ask the question about like why did I like when I got injured, like what did I learn and stuff. Um that honestly is like the biggest thing. Like that was a big thing that contributed to like my mindset because like I always like even if I wasn't playing basketball, like I
Mhm.
had something to think about. Like the last game I just played practice, like I'm thinking about it, but then I had like nothing to think about. And then I was like, wait, like I don't have any hobbies. And so like I actually had to figure out hobbies. So I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what I
Okay.
like to do, but I do enjoy like painting. Like that's something I've definitely like taken up on in the last couple years.
Mhm.
And yeah, and hair. I definitely enjoy
Oh,
doing hair.
okay.
But those are the two things I would say right now.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, did you work? Did you have a job while you were going to school at all? Did you?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, like my daughter, right? Carissa,
Yeah.
like she started working at like 16.
No, no, I did
And now she
not
still
start.
works. Oh, okay, okay. What's the future outlook? We're gonna do the real talk question in a minute, but what's the future outlook for Chantelle? What do you see for yourself ball wise, and then even future wise? What do you see?
I guess short term would be just to like get back to a place where I have like confidence in my basketball abilities because obviously like not playing like you can do like drills and skills, but like there's a certain like flow that comes with like the game that like you just like have to it takes time to like come back. And
Mm-hmm,
so me like my first goal is to just like get back to a place where like I'm physically strong
hmm
and then like have that mental confidence and then like a place where I can compete. Like I want to run and like outrun people
hmm
and like play defense and like jump and run, like stuff like that. And so like it's more of like just physically like making sure that I'm capable of like what in my mind I know I am and what like I see myself doing. And past that, I for basketball, I wouldn't say it like the goal is to go pro or anything like that. I
hmm
don't think that's ever been like my like drive. But if the opportunity came or if my body was like if my knee is still like somehow intact after
Yeah.
these 4 years, like sure, I wouldn't mind like continuing to play basketball, make money, come back. But the goal I think like after I graduate, like integrate into life and like my first goal honestly is like get my own apartment
hmm
and I guess like we like get money and so like I'm just gonna save it up and I can't wait to like come back home and like have my own space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Because you're still in Ajax, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, how was it being away from your parents so young? Because as you know, Andrew Wiggins, my cousin, I heard
Mhm.
that like he was missing home when he was in Huntington Prep, and then
Mhm.
he had that little talk with his mom and his pop, and things worked out for him. But
Mhm.
that missing home when you're young, how'd that feel to you? Or did you?
I think it helped that I went to prep school at like in grade 10 because
Mhm.
I think like maybe that's like 14, 15. So like I wasn't at home. So I think like I didn't like when I got to Rhode Island, I didn't necessarily like miss home. It was more so just like missing like familiarity and stuff.
Ah, good point.
But I don't think I was like, oh, like I would love to see like my sister or something, my mom, my dad, but like I wasn't like, oh, like homesick and like
Mhm.
but it's like good. Like when they came down for the games, I was like, it was good to see them. Like I came down for Christmas and yeah, but I honestly liked it. I think like I like the privacy and the like like I get to wake up, I have to go to practice, do my stuff or whatever. But then after that, like it's my schedule. I have like I'm accountable for doing what I have to do. I squeeze things in when I want. I don't have to like someone come into my room, open the door, like say like, oh, by the way, you got to do this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like my schedule. So now being back is honestly like in a way, I'm like they like knock on my door, open it. First of all, in Rhode Island, my door like has a lock, so like nobody opens my door. So they're just like, oh, like blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, like
Hey, Kevin Marlette, I'm gonna cut this out of the video. Don't worry, you're not gonna see this. Don't worry about it.
honestly, I'll tell them. I'll tell them.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. I always wonder. And I guess being independent so young too, right? That self-discipline comes in. Like you know what I mean? So that's a good thing too at a young age.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now the real talk question. I already know which one you're gonna choose. Yeah, I already know. I already know. But what do you want? The Blue Jays or the Raptors?
I'm most deaf picking the Raptors.
I knew it. All right. What is one of the most memorable moments of your life?
Mm, memorable moments. Honestly, I don't know. Like that's I'm really bad at picking like certain moments, but I think it would just probably I would pick a time where like like when I was very young, me, my brother, and my sister, like we used to have a lot of like fun, like doing like foolishness, getting hurt and stuff. Like just like that time
Mm,
period was really fun. Like tying stuff to like a string and trying to jump over it in the living room. Like I remember like stuff like that. So I would say that.
nice, nice. I love this. I remember I put a like a montage of me asking people this question or the other
Mm,
question, and then it's just people start thinking, you know what I mean? It's like they get
mm,
stumped. But people who have kids, that's probably the first thing they say, the birth of my
mm,
child and things like that. But yeah,
for sure.
thanks for sharing that. Okay,
Mhm.
the last thing we're doing, Chantel,
Yes.
as you know, I donate to a charity after every episode, and you're gonna tell me which balloon to pop, and I'll see who I'm donating to today. And the charities for season 7 are Claws, Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society, the Fundraiser Warriors, and Make a Wish Foundation. So my right, middle, or left,
Um, I'm gonna go with the middle.
right? So let's see who Star Scorpio is donating to. Oh, this happened again. Jeez. That's 2 times. It didn't pop. Okay. Season 7, episode 3. Stars. Oh my gosh. Make a Wish Foundation. I don't know if you can see it. Wow. This is the new charity that was recommended to from somebody. And now that's twice it's been picked. So that's good. I'll be donating to Make a Wish Foundation. Chantelle, is there any last words you'd like to tell everybody?
Um, no, I think that was a really good conversation, some really good questions, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I think that was a good, catch up, but also good like little Q&A.
True. This is probably the longest we've talked.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Real Talk with Star Scorpio, season 7, episode 3, and we out.